Hi, this is Shabbir Safdar from the Partnership for Safe Medicines. It's a quick crash course in can Canada supply the US with medicine, and do they even want to? All right, really quickly, let's talk about this. The respective populations of Canada and America are a proportion of about 1 to 9. There is 1 Canadian for every 9 Americans. Not surprisingly, the Canadians don't have an excess quantity of medicine to treat a country 9 times their size. And unfortunately, they're currently experiencing shortages for a number of reasons. Right now, there's an important breast cancer product called tamoxifen, which is in short supply. Because Canada does not manufacture a great deal of its own medicines, but mostly imports them, they don't have any control over their supply to be able to ramp up production to meet even their own demand or US demand. The researcher, Professor Marv Shepard, has studied this since 2010, and his latest paper in 2019 looked at the size and slack and elasticity of the Canadian drug supply and found out that if 20% of Americans diverted their prescriptions to Canada, their supply would run out in about 6 months or 182 days. And the thing that's aggravating this fact is that Canada, because it doesn't actually manufacture its own supply, has had an increasing number of shortages that have been growing year after year. Right now, out of about 13,000 approved medicines in Canada, there are a little over 2,000 of them in shortage. And if you talk to Canadian pharmacists, they will say that basically 1 in 4 patients has been touched somewhere in Canada by a shortage. They spend a great deal of time calling around trying to fill orders because the wholesalers that they go to simply don't have the product. So for this reason, you've seen the Canadian government speak up. They last October they went to the White House and the ambassador delivered a very clear message. They don't have a supply to meet U.S. demand, that importing medicines from Canada would not actually solve the problem because, in fact, because they are 1/9 their size, if they were to give us all their medicines and suffer and die prematurely, 8/9 of the country of America would not see any benefit. And they don't have any ability to ramp up production to meet our demand. So they deliver that message to the White House personally. Canada's patient community and citizens have also spoken up about this. They have been organizing, and just in November of 2019, right after the last Canadian election, a very broad group of stakeholders in Canada wrote a letter to recently re-elected Prime Minister Trudeau and said, you know, we need you to protect our drug supply from US importation plans. So the Canadian Medical Association, nurses, pharmacists, hospital pharmacists, diabetics, neighborhood pharmacies, patient groups like the Canadian Organization for Rare Disorders. And this is most notable, one of the world's largest medical wholesalers, McKesson, Canada, and Shoppers Drug Mart, which is one of the largest chain pharmacies in Canada. And you got to wonder, if all these people are against it, how is it that we might actually get their medicine? And even if we did get it, how would we get enough? The answer is we wouldn't. The question that should lead you to wonder is, if they won't sell us Canadian medicine, are there people who would sell us Canadian medicine and lie about it? And while that's a topic for another video, you know, there's a couple of really prominent Canadian prosecutions when we were able to get a hold of those individuals that show that yes, there is an active and very profitable market of people selling us medication and telling us that it's Canadian even when it's not and when it's counterfeit. But that's topic for another video. Thank you, and I hope you speak up about this dangerous plan.